Town Square Media Station.
WTUG HD2 Northport and W265CG Tuscaloosa. Tide 100.9. Streaming on the Tide HD2 Northport and W265CG Tuscaloosa. A Town Square Media Station.
What man to beat, you can forget about it. Touchdown, Alabama.
Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Alabama 1st and 10 on the 12. Against him. He's got a hole. He's over. Alabama touchdown.
I'm just wondering if your listeners know how good a football player you were. I can still see you playing that fullback, knocking those players out of the way. And I believe I could have run behind you.
Martin, I can remember when we came to summer and you were playing fullback up there, and I saw you in the weight room and watched you work out in the weight room. If you was strong enough to pick up the whole weight room. I wanted to fix it, and our running back coach didn't take the biggest mistake we ever made.
The Martin Houston Show with national championship winning fullback Martin Houston, giving you 1 hour of intense, hard-hitting analysis from an insider's perspective. It's time for the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9, and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Good morning. Welcome into the Martin Houston Show, powered by MaX Sports on Tide 100.9. Glad to have you with us live, local, and ready to get things going on the radio airwaves at Tide 100.9 and on the online radio network at Martin Houston 35 on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. We are excited to get things rolled out on this free for all Friday. Want to hear from you. What's your thoughts? What you got going on? What's the big conversation you're going to have over the weekend? We'll talk about it right here first. Will we hear OCDC news for Alabama football? Maybe, maybe not. The rumors and speculation around one certain guy is picking up. I had a new guy name thrown into the mix, but is this job too big for the name that I heard? I'll tell you what that name was on yesterday. I'll be telling you that in just a moment. But also, hey, got a big basketball game coming up on tomorrow as the SEC takes on the Big 12 in basketball playoffs. And man, if we could do that in football, which conference would you want the first SEC versus who, or which conference in football? Which conference would it be? So I would love to see that one Saturday where all of the SEC teams are playing this set conference, and then you kind of have a rotation. And I would not be surprised if that doesn't happen. If you get to a true four conference setup, I would not be surprised if that doesn't happen somewhere down the road, so that you could kind of use that as seeding when you're picking the final four teams. So, that would be an interesting matchup. So we can talk about that. Of course, we can talk about the NFL playoffs because that's going to be a big conversation over the weekend. Jalen Hurts versus Brock Purdy, youngest two guys to ever play in this big of a game. At the same time, Brock Purdy looking to make history, becoming the first rookie to go to a Super Bowl. And what makes that even more impressive is he's a third-string quarterback. Does Brock Purdy have to win this game to secure himself as the quarterback of the future for the 49ers? Or will the NFL do what they're notorious for doing? Instead of worrying about winning, they'll go back and go with whatever their contracts tell them to. Then another big matchup, Burrows versus Mahomes. does Mahomes have to win this game to hold on to his spot as the king of the throne right now amongst the young guys? Or if Burrows wins, does that put him in the driver's seat, even if he doesn't have that elusive Super Bowl yet? So we can talk about that. It's a free-for-all Friday. You may have something else you want to talk about, something else you'd like to bring to the conversation, and we'll do it right here on the Martin Houston Show, powered by MaX Sports with Martin and Xavier. The Alabama One hotline is open for business. That's 205-342-9904. Let us hear from you this morning, and also add your thoughts, comments, questions, topics, etc. in our chat box. Remember that this is the day that the Lord has made, so let's rejoice and be glad in it. Take some time today to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, be the difference you want to see in the world today. Good morning, X. How you doing, sir?
Good morning. Doing well. How are you?
Doing well. For this time of year, lots of interesting things to talk about over the weekend, and we got a lot of different angles we can go. Anything just jumps out at you of those particular topics?
Yeah, I mean the Jalen Hurts, Brock Purdy, NFC Championship game matchup, and of course, who's going to be the top quarterback from the young and up. I really can't call Mahomes or Burrows up and coming really anymore at this point. But who holds on to that title? And as far as that goes, Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the game of football right now. It's one of those things where championships or games kind of get, quarterbacks get all the credit and they get all the blame, but you can't tell me that Joe Burrow is a better quarterback than Patrick Mahomes by any means.
But is Joe Burrow Tom Brady to Peyton Manning? Is that what he is? Is he Mahomes' kryptonite?
It's a good comparison, but I think it's a little too early to say that. I think this weekend will tell a lot, and after this weekend, I'll make a judgment call on that.
Mahomes is 0-3 against Burrows, and you go back and look, and Burrows did have a lot to do with those wins. Burrow, I call him a little punk, I call him a little turd, etc. But if he was my turd, etc., I'd say he's pretty special. Considering the fact that Burrows was injured and has come back the way he is, he's taken a franchise who has done nothing. He has won more playoff games than any quarterback in their history already. And once and he's done that while being sacked more than anybody else in the league. Has no. I think Jonah Williams. I always hear people. I don't know how Jonah Williams was still the starter. The guy. I look at him. I watch him play, and I go, "Wow, he is horrible." He gets bull rush. He gets ran around, etc. But nothing seems to bother Joe. So, Aiden, what's your thoughts in terms of Burrows and Mahomes?
They're both incredibly fun to watch play football right now. Every time I think Mahomes can't amaze me or impress me, everything he already has, he does without fail every time.
Yeah, and a lot of people made it sound like Mahomes thought Mahomes was. Let me see how I say this. Everybody thought the Chiefs, because they lost Tyreek Hill, has less weapons. I think what happened is other guys were able to step up, and he became less dependent on one or two guys and started spreading the wealth around. So I think the Chiefs actually better without Tyreek Hill than they were with him offensively. And when you look at these two guys, man, Mahomes has accomplished more. Mahomes is more special in extending plays and all of that. But I guess the question is, would Mahomes be as good on any other team in the NFL, X?
I think
without Andy Reid and his creativity.
I think he would be. I mean, when you look at Patrick Mahomes, you're truly talking about, and I know this word gets thrown around a lot, but he's proven it to be a generational talent at the quarterback position because of what he's able to do when plays break down. I mean, I don't think there's a better off-script quarterback in the league. And, you know, when you're looking at Joe Burrow, everybody talks about, oh, man, that horrible offensive line. But when he is given time, he's throwing probably to the best overall group of weapons in the NFL. I mean, you're talking about we talk about how, you know, Stephon Diggs got Josh Allen got Stephon Diggs and how that helped him. We talked about Tua reuniting with Waddle, Jalen with Devontae, these college quarterback connections with their wide receivers and how it helps. Well, I mean, we saw what Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase did in college, and then he gets them right back in the NFL a year later, and then you turn around and you add a T. Higgins, a Tyler Boyd, a Hayden Hurst at tight end, a Joe Mixon at running back, a Samaje Perine as the number 2 running back. I mean, he's got a stable of weapons to throw to. And so
how do you throw to those weapons when you're getting sacked? He is under pressure. He's under pressure more than anybody in the league. So it doesn't matter about weapons if you're always under pressure, unless you're special.
But when he gets the time, he's throwing to the best group in the league, and I don't think it's close.
He's throwing to a young, talented group. I don't know if they're the best. I think Jamar Chase is one of the best, but I don't know if they're the best. I think he has the future.
3 wide receivers is better than that 3.
Do what now?
What team can boast a top 3 wide receiver group like that?
Are you going by what they did in college or what they've done in the pros? And how much of what they've done in the pros is based off of Joe Burrow? Hey, Xavier, I watched Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow, he doesn't have the creativity with his extension, but he can extend plays and make plays off script and use his legs as well as anybody. I mean, I'm telling you, I think that here's the thing. I think Patrick Mahomes is the most special, like creator, extension, etc. guy in the world, right? I mean, I think the way he can throw the ball and all of that. But I believe that when you look at if I'm a coordinator, Andy Reid is one of the most creative guys with one of the most creative guys. And he puts his offense and he makes a lot of those things happen with Mahomes because of his offensive philosophy. I'm not saying Mahomes couldn't go anywhere and play, etc. And I'm not saying Burrows is better per se. Burrows has Xavier. If you told me, give me weapons or give me an offensive line and give me weapons, if I have to choose, I'm gonna add. I want the situation where my quarterback isn't always being harassed. I want a team where I can actually call plays and expect those plays to be ran without it being broken down. So I'm not saying that Burrows is better, but I'm not sure that if I was one of the other coordinators in the league that I wouldn't want Burrows over Mahomes. I'm not saying that, but I'm not sure because if I'm a Bill O'Brien, I can't coach Mahomes because he makes plays off script. and creativity. So he's not a match. I could coach with Joe Burrows if I'm a Bill O'Brien. That makes sense. I think there's more coordinators that would be successful with Burrows because he, and I'll say that, he fits the traditional quarterback mold. And you have to start going, he's 0-3 against Burrows.
Well,
who's had the better team in those games? Who's had the better team in those games? There's not one of those games where you would have picked the Bengals over the Chiefs.
But Martin,
but is that because of the team or is that because of Patrick Mahomes? Honestly,
well, I mean, they've won the conference for 5 or 6 years in a row. Aiden, what were you about to say?
I was just gonna say if we never would have in any of those 3 games picked Cincinnati to be the better team and they're 3-0, maybe we're just picking wrong.
I mean, is that what you said about the Colts and Brady?
I don't know.
That's my point. That's what my point is.
If you're
that's my point, though. Aiden, you just made my point.
Top 10 defense.
Aiden just made my point. Xavier, Tom Brady is nowhere near the talent of Peyton Manning. But Manning could not beat Brady in the game. And as history kept going until finally they said, well, Tom Brady is better. Because every year, the clear talented quarterback was Manning. That's why I asked that question. You may be right. Aiden, you may be right, man. Like I said, I'm just telling you this is exactly how it was setting up when it was Brady and Manning. Every year you felt like the clear-cut better quarterback was Manning. Then they would face each other.
Brady won. The difference is this. Brady won before Peyton won. Patrick has won at the end of the day, the big game. Patrick has been to the big game twice while Joe has been once.
Who's older and how many chances has Joe had?
This is Joe's 3rd year. This is Patrick's 5th year as the starter.
Yeah, but that first year for Joe Burrow, he was injured the whole season. This is really only his 2nd shot, and it's his 2nd shot to make the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I mean, he started last year and took his team all the way through. He came back this year and ran the gamut again. I'm like, hey, listen, this is apples and apples when you're talking about this, but I'm just saying that if Brady, if this game, this is my point behind that. If he beats him again, you have to give him. If he goes 4-0, I hate that Mahomes is hurt. I hate it. I wish he was healthy and everything. And I know with the way I like to play ball, I probably would take a Mahomes because I love the creativity and I loved all of that.
So do you think Bill O'Brien struggled at Alabama? Because I would say Bryce Young is closer to a Mahomes as far as being able to extend and go off script than he is Burrows.
Yeah, and that's my point, is he does not maximize a creative guy. That's why I said Bill O'Brien would struggle with Mahomes. He won't struggle with Mac Jones next year because he knows what he can call. He'll call it from the pocket. It'll be what he's always known. It'll be if we get everything we need, whatever. The difference between Burrows is a guy. Burrows to me is like Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers could have been a dual threat guy. He can extend play, but he extend plays in a different way. And I think Burrows has that. I mean, if you didn't know the results and you had a chance after a couple of years, you would take Aaron Rodgers over Tom Brady. Tom Brady, when he first won his couple of championships, man, nobody thought Tom Brady was a great quarterback. No one, when he won his Super Bowl, thought Tom Brady was a great quarterback. It was all about everybody else. It was about the team, etc. And you can't say that about Joe Burrow. You can't. I mean, I don't look at Cincinnati and go, "Wow, they're overwhelming." I would take Chase over some of the guys. I wouldn't take the tight end over what they have at Kansas City.
No.
Running back Mixon is good, but Mixon isn't like, okay, I'm gonna give up a franchise player. I take the guys. I mean, it's just, to me, both of them are elite. So we're arguing against, nonsense, but it is an interesting thought there. So yeah. So, but Joe, like I said, I think this weekend is going to tell us a lot. And we didn't even get talked about Jalen. We'll talk about that on the other side. We'll also get Alan in. Sorry, Alan, forgot about you being on the phone line there. Got in that heated debate. Hey, we'll also talk about, hey, is he on the docket? Who I'm talking about? Well, you have to stay tuned on the other side to find out who. More conversation with Martin and Xavier up next.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, our roadways are looking good on this Friday morning. Everything pretty quiet. Now, if you do see conditions throughout the morning that folks need to hear about, please give me a call, 205-886-8886. Business is so good at Townsend Nissan, they need your help in sales and service. Go see BJ or Kylan at Townsend Nissan. I'm Captain Ray.
In a collision, easy decision. Make one call to one name. Mesrano, 206-6300.
No representation made that quality of legal services to be performed is greater than quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Road tripping, business travel, or bringing your car in for repairs. All great reasons to rent a Toyota at Tuscaloosa Toyota. You can rent the latest Toyota models for a day, a week, or a weekend. Every Toyota rental-car comes with 24 hours roadside assistance and is backed by an entire team of people you know and trust. Rent a Toyota and let's go places. Reserving yours is a breeze at TuscaloosaToyota.com.
Everyone knows time is money, so don't wait weeks for the IRS to send out your tax refund. Go to Jackson Hewitt instead for up to $3,500 with a no-interest, no-fee tax refund advance loan. With up to $3,500, you could bring home the bacon and bring it home today. Money now instead of later? That's worth its weight in gold. Don't wait weeks for your refund. Go to Jackson Hewitt today. For eligible clients, loans by Republic Bank and Trust Company. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
The weather cool and dry today with a good supply of sunshine, the high 55. Clear tonight with the low at 32. Tomorrow, partly to mostly sunny, the high 59. Sunday, wet weather is back, cloudy with periods of rain, the high 58. I'm James Spann of the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 28 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Scott Smith and Softmark Design, doing business for 17 plus years, specializing in graphic design services, commercial printing, promotional products, advertising specialties, and so much more. Basically, any and everything you would need to advertise, promote, and grow your business. Through strong partnerships, strong customer service, and creative ideas, they'll help you market and grow your business. Give Scott a call at 205-292-4680 or email scottis@comcast.net and visit them online at softmarkdesign.com.
Interact with the Martin Houston Show by calling us at 205-342-9904 or tuning into the Martin Houston Show on Facebook.
All right, welcome back in. X, real quick, we'll jump to the Jalen Hurts conversation. Won't spend too much time on it. Get to the phone lines. When you look at the NFC Championship game, who you got, man?
I got the Eagles. I think the defenses are so close when it comes to talent and ability to stop things. You have to look at the offensive side of the ball, and while the 49ers do have a lot of weapons, I believe that Philly trusts Jalen to win games more than the 49ers trust Brock. I think Brock is doing a great job not losing games, how you talk about those early Tom Brady teams where it was more of, hey, let's just not let him lose us a game versus win a game. So I would go in a game with two defenses of this caliber. I would lean with the team that has more faith in their quarterback to win.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I said when Brock beat Tom Brady and then he went on to win a couple other games, I said, did Tom Brady introduce us to his protege pretty much? And what I was meaning by that is the fact that this guy's going to become one of those guys where you go, oh, he's Mr. Irrelevant, but he went on to win 2 or 3 Super Bowls. I don't know if anybody's going to win as many as Tom has, but yeah, I would agree. Jalen Hurts. I think Jalen has a big game. Jalen Hurts gets to the Super Bowl, first Alabama quarterback to do so in 40 plus years. So we'll see what happens with that. And we'll be talking about it on Monday. Let's go ahead and get to the phone lines. We got Alan. Alan, you're in with the Martin Houston Show, powered by MaX Sports, with Martin and Xavier on the Alabama One Hotline. What's on your mind, sir?
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, sir.
Once again, X, I'm riding with you. I'm on that bandwagon with you. There is no way I even say in the same category. You put Joe Burrow in the same category with Mahomes. Hey, there is no way you do that. There's only 2 all-pro quarterbacks this year, and that was Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts. Now, you may have Pro Bowl quarterbacks, but you only had 2 all-pro quarterbacks.
Okay.
That is true. Hey, I mean, I'm with you on that.
If you're the owner of a team, who do you take to start your franchise? Joe Burrow or Patrick Mahomes?
Who, me?
Yes.
If they're coming out of high school, I'm taking Joe. I mean, out of college.
You take him over Patrick Mahomes.
When they were coming out of high school, I would have taken Joe Burrow. I mean, out of college, I would have taken Joe Burrow over Patrick Mahomes because the Big 12 had produced a lot of bust at quarterback. And it's really also based on whether or not. Now, if you ask me who I'm taking at this point, then I may take Patrick because of what he's done. If they were both on the free agent market, I might take Mahomes. But coming out of college, yeah, I would have took Joe. Coming from the SEC, huh?
Okay, my next question is this then. Okay, now we know Reed is a good coach. How much credit do we give Eric Bieniemy for Patrick Mahomes being who Patrick Mahomes is right now?
I give them both a lot. I think that Andy and Eric work extremely well together. Undoubtedly, the rest of the NFL doesn't, but I think that Eric has a lot to do with it. But I also think, I'm not going to take anything away from Andy because I saw what Andy did with McNabb. I saw what he did with what's his name with his leg. Quarterback.
Did he have Michael Vick for a little while?
Huh?
Did he have Michael Vick for a minute in Philadelphia?
Yep. And he had, what's his name? The guy that broke his leg and wasn't never supposed to play again from Washington. That was
no.
The quarterback
Alex Smith is the one Patrick Mahomes sat behind for a year in KC.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, Smith. And look what he was doing the same thing with him. So Andy Reid can flat out coach. So Andy Reid, it wouldn't matter which one of those guys you got. I think he'd figure out how to win with both of them. But I also I do think Bieniemy is a big part of a part of the creativity that happens as well.
And that goes back to my last question. Once again, we've talked about this before. Why isn't he even getting anybody calling him for a head coaching job? Nowhere, college, pro, or anything. I've heard that he said some people say the players don't like him, but I've never heard that from nobody else. I mean, I've never seen a player say, hey, they don't want to play for him or something like that. I mean, the only thing he does is win. So
I'll say this. He's in a great situation where he's getting paid a lot of money to coach the most talented quarterback in football. And so maybe part of it is he doesn't want to leave for the simple standpoint of trying to go and deal with a new team and maybe a worse situation.
Well, I mean, maybe I don't know what the deal is with Eric, but maybe he because of where he's at and what they pay him, maybe he's not in a rush to get that head coaching job, and so he's able to stay where he's at because a lot of these coaches, man, they're set up for failure when they get these horrible teams. Like sometimes I think about D'Amico Ryan. I'm like, man, if he ends up with the Texans, is it's going to be, a negative for him versus staying where he's at, waiting for a better opportunity than going to some junk team. And, maybe Eric has figured out I'm doing pretty good here, but I don't know that. I have no idea. Thanks, Alan. Appreciate you, man.
All right.
Have a good one. Hey, George, you're in on the Alabama One hotline with the Martin Houston Show, powered by MaX Sports. What's on your mind, sir?
Hey, Martin. Yeah, just want to make a few comments. Now, I listened to the show and I tried to get in the last couple of days, and one of my comments is everybody's wanting Joe Brady to be the offensive coordinator at Alabama, and I agree with you. He's never been the offensive coordinator except for at Carolina and wasn't very good there. And when he was at LSU, Enfinger was the offensive coordinator. And I just, I just don't see, he had that one great year where he had a great quarterback, great running back, great offensive line, great receivers. Whereas, I could have been an offensive coordinator or passing coordinator and been good with those guys. So I'm not a big Joe Brady fan. I want somebody that's a little bit more proven to be our offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Now I will say that I do give Joe Brady 95% of the credit for what happened at LSU, George, in terms of that pass game coordinator. I'm not gonna take that away from him. What I will say is because we saw Enfinger was the coordinator the year before, and
correct.
And Joe Burrow at best would have been, if he had duplicated that season, at best he'd have been a 5th, 6th, 7th round guy, just probably based on size and arm talent. But to go from that to the number one quarterback, something new had to be infused, and Brady was that infusion. Now, this is what I was trying to communicate the other day. There's been a couple of guys who have went from 1 year being average to the next year being unbelievable. That's Burrow. They're in what's his name at Tennessee this past year. Hooker, Hendon Hooker, and I would even say that even though everybody always dogs him, Stetson Bennett was a better quarterback this year, and potentially even it had impact last year. Joe Burrow was able to go like an NFL quarterback. He didn't have a class. He had classes, but they were all online.
He just had one class, and he said his job was to learn football. And
it was online. It was online. He didn't even have to go anywhere to do that class. And he spent all of that time with Joe Brady learning like an NFL quarterback. And he learned. So I'm not knocking him, and I'm not knocking Joe Brady for teaching him. I'm saying that the typical college quarterback doesn't have that luxury. And
I'm not saying that he isn't good. I think that he was part of that puzzle that year, and he should be given credit for that. But to think that he's going to be the greatest offensive coordinator in the world, like people are saying, I just don't. It kind of it's like sticking me in the ribs with a stick. I don't go with it. But I'm not, just like you said, I'm not going to take credit away from him for what he did at LSU. You know, that was lightning in a bottle. Everything came together at one time. Just like you said, Joe Burrow's job was learning football that year. And, you know, he says himself, 8 hours a day, film work. You know, he worked extremely
He
hard.
was an NFL quarterback playing college football. He was older. Joe Burrows, I think that year was 23, 24, somewhere in that range. So he was older, and he had the same access that a pro guy does. You know,
You made a great comparison, just like Stetson Bennett was 25 or 26 or whatever it is.
So it matters. But what we also found out was that Burrow had a lot of undeveloped talent because we saw that his ability wasn't a one-year wonder. We've seen him go to the next level, and it goes back to Urban Meyer and M. Finger and the other guys did a poor job of developing Joe Burrow, is what it tells me, because that guy was he was average. I mean, and he's elite. He's elite. So I get what you're saying, George. Appreciate it, sir. Thank you.
Well, one more comment, comparing Joe Burrow to Mahomes. Mahomes has a lot of flash and a lot of talent. And he uses that talent to get windows open to throw the pass. Joe Burrow uses, the whole play. Somebody getting a window open across the middle. He depends on the slot receiver going through and putting conflict in the strong safety and the cornerback and bringing someone to open. He uses, like you have stated, the whole play to get the job done and to process what the play is supposed to do. And he's very, very, very good at that. It's kind of like if the head coach is watching the play develop with Mahomes. Oh, don't throw that pass across the middle. He throws it. Oh, it's all right now. It's kind of going into the huddle and saying, okay, we're going to run this play. If you're not open, I'm going to run around, do a no look, this and that, and throw the pass, and it's good.
Yeah.
Both of them get fantastic results, and it's just what is your cup of tea is better on how it's done. And that's kind of my comment. And thank you for taking my call. I enjoy your show.
Thanks, George. Appreciate it. Come back on the other side. We'll keep the conversation going. X, I'll let you respond to George coming out of the break, and then we'll get to Todd. And hey, listen, if you have something you want to bring up, bring it up. We'll be right here waiting on you right here on the Martin Houston Show.
This is a Town Square Media Tide 100.9 Sports Update.
I'm Kim Rankin with your Tide Sports Update. Former Alabama wide receiver Keith Pugh reflects on Coach Bryant on the 40th anniversary of his passing. Alabama softball players Montana Fouts and Faith Hensley have made USA Softball's Player of the Year Top 50 watch list.
This has been a Town Square Media Tide 100.9 Sports Update.
Run it again!
For more info on these stories and more, download the Tide 100.9 app.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, we got a wreck on US 11 northbound at Hagler-Coling Road with minor delays. Everything else looking pretty good around town. If you see conditions, just give me a call. 205-886-8886. Business is so good at Townsend Nissan, they need your help in sales and service. Go see BJ or Kylan at Townsend Nissan. I'm Captain Ray.
Did you know Nissan EVs have traveled 8 billion miles? Just a quick trip to Pluto and back. And what did we learn along the way? Well, that an EV can take on the world, like the Nissan Leaf. It can move racing forward and take your breath away, like the all-new Nissan Ariya. We learned to make EVs that electrify. 8 billion miles driven by Leaf owners globally since 2010. Ariya not yet available for purchase. Expected availability late fall, subject to change.
Right now, you can get free carpet installation from the Home Depot. So while we're putting in your new carpet, you'll have more time to take care of the lawn. Get started on dinner. Or just lay down and relax on your new carpet after it's installed. Get your free carpet installation started with the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Minimum purchase of $4.99. Exclusions apply. U.S. only. See store for details.
I'm attorney Stephen Mizrano. We've all heard the different lawyer ads.
We can get you the money you deserve.
We fight and go to court.
But who should I call?
Ask to speak and meet with the actual person on TV, radio, or billboard. At the Mizrano Law Firm, we're dedicated to our clients. And no matter how big or how small your case is, we want to meet and answer all your questions. Day and night, we're working hard to get you the money you deserve. One name, one call, Mizrano, 206-6300. No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than that of other lawyers.
Hello there. My name is Seychelle, and what makes the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich original to me is the punch of flavors that's unlike any other. You get the crispy tenderness of the chicken and that hint of sourness from the pickles. Ta-da!
Hey, I'm Juan, and what makes the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich original to me is you're going to get chicken that's crispy, golden, and juicy. This is the gold standard of chicken sandwiches.
Order the original Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich on the Chick-fil-A app today. Real customers paid for their testimonials.
Keep it locked into Tide 100.9 for more of the Martin Houston Show with Martin Houston and X's and O's Sports, Xavier Houston.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier, powered by MaX Sports. X, I'll let you respond to George if you have any comments on that, and then let's get to Todd, and then we'll take a break and get back, and we'll come back and talk a little coordinator, Bama hoops, and we'll wrap things up on this Friday edition, Free for All Friday.
Yeah, no, I think it's a situation with Joe Brady. I still wouldn't mind having him as our offensive coordinator. There are some questions that I would like answered or that should be answered, but I think he's a good, young, up-and-coming guy. You know, it's a situation where you've seen Nick Saban take those chances more on the defensive side of the ball. Kirby, when he first got to Bama, a young guy, hadn't proven as much as Joe Brady had. Honestly, you know, Jeremy was on staff, Pete getting an opportunity. So I would like to see that happen on the offensive side of the ball as well.
Yeah, on the offensive side of the ball, though, man, you go back and look, he had Applewhite, boom, 1 year gone, then made a run, and then we had Nussmeier. But since then, it's been head coaches. Former head coaches and former NFL offensive coordinators. That's been the pedigree. Will he stick with that? And I think part of that is because he can give them what he wants, and then he doesn't have to worry about offense. I think that's why he goes with that. And then he feels like he can develop guys on the defensive side of the ball. Could be wrong with that thought process. And maybe this is the time that he makes a change real quick. X, I heard, that a name that has popped up that I heard that I think it would, I think it's a long shot, but it'd be interesting. Alex Mortensen, who just got hired by UAB, who's been in this program for since 2013. As a analyst or whatever you want to call him. So that'd be interesting to see if that name catches any traction if we don't hear some of these other guys at some point. Saban, I just don't know if you bring a guy that doesn't have experience in to run the offense when you're an offense. I mean, when you're a defensive-minded guy. So, X, and then so yeah.
No, I mean I agree. It most likely is going to be a guy that has a lot of experience, whether it be as an OC or as a head coach, that's going to get that because of what you said, him wanting to be able to rely solely on focusing on the defense and letting that guy run the offense based off of what he wants. So even though I would like to see Joe Brady, I know it's most likely not going to be.
Yeah, and Joe Brady I think Joe Brady would do a good job. I just said that he doesn't have the experience. So will Saban buck his trend? That's the question you have to answer on the OC. I think the DC is kind of decided. I think He's waiting to pull the trigger on Pruitt, and we'll give our predictions on that this weekend. Todd, you're in with the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier. What's on your mind, sir?
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. Free for all Friday. I love it. When you're throwing around the quarterback comparisons and this, that, and the other with, Burrows and Mahomes, Burrows has been the winner in that matchup,
Yeah.
You just look over at Stetson Bennett, that kid's a doggone. I like what you said. He's a turd. I look at Stetson Bennett. He's kind of a turd, but that's a winning turd. And
that's right.
I've seen the stable of quarterbacks that Georgia has, and one name that stands out is Brock Vandagriff. I've seen him play live a couple years in a row at Prince Avenue when he was in high school, and probably one of, if not the best quarterbacks I've ever watched live high school football. He's throwing darts all over the field, and he's setting the bench behind, that turd, but that winning turd. And Bennett, he finished fourth in the Heisman race. So, but man, it's just you got to give credit to the surrounding cast. Coaches, players, offense, defense, line, receivers. I don't think they get enough credit, man. You play football, Martin, and so those guys in the trenches. They don't get enough credit for all this. These guys being able to do stuff. So I love watching Mahomes and his play. My favorite quarterback is Lamar Jackson because, oh my God, he is electric.
Yeah. And I'll say this, Todd, and I'll let you go. But the beauty of it is Mahomes has the biggest security blanket of anybody in the league. Kelsey. Yeah. That dude is special. So as many weapons and as much as he does to be creative, he still goes to that dude 99% of the time when it's crunch time, and no one can stop it. I don't blame him. But he makes Mahomes and Mahomes makes him. And it's going to be an interesting game. I just hope Mahomes is healthy enough to be Mahomes and these two young quarterbacks duel it out and may the best team win. Regardless of what quarterback play happens. So, but it usually does come down to which quarterback doesn't turn the ball over, et cetera, and makes the big plays. Thanks, Todd. Appreciate you, sir.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide, man. Come back on the other side. We'll put the finishing touches on this edition of the Martin Houston Show, powered by MaX Sports, on a free-for-all Friday.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, we got a wreck on US 11 northbound at Hagler-Coling Road with minor delays. Everything else looking pretty good around town. If you see conditions, just give me a call. 205-886-8886. Business is so good at Townsend Nissan, they need your help in sales and service. Go see BJ or Kylan at Townsend Nissan. I'm Captain Ray.
Here's what's trending on the Tuscaloosa thread.
Good morning. This is Mary Kay, and this is the Town Square Media Newsroom. The city of Tuscaloosa is holding a collection drive to assist the people impacted by the January 12th tornado in Selma. Donations will be collected until February 3rd. Citizens are asked to drop off items to any Tuscaloosa fire rescue station. And on February 14th, there will be an election for Tuscaloosa County and Northport voters. The decision? If they should approve a property tax millage increase to give more money to county schools.
Hello, this is Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show, and I want to tell you about one of our great sponsors, Overflow Express Wash. Their mission is to provide great customer service with a showroom clean car and an exceptional customer service experience. They have the basic car wash that starts at $7, but you need to check out the premium wash packages, which start as low as $12 and go up to $20. They also have a membership wash club that you can get for starting at $23.99, going up to $39.99. In other words, just double the regular premium package, drop a penny, and you can be one of the great members of Overflow Express Wash. My family and I keep our cars looking good inside and out by using Overflow Express Wash. They're located on Skyland Boulevard right next door to Alabama 1, or you can find them online at overflowexpresswash.com. Andy Phillips and his team look forward to making you a part of their team.
Experience a level of performance you've never seen in a tournament bass boat until now in your new Camus Bass Boat powered by Mercury. From Boatworks in Northport, the overall ride and performance of Camus CX line powered by Mercury is a true game changer. They've been able to remove the chine walk without compromising top speed or rough water handling capabilities. See the complete line of Camus CX model bass boats powered by Mercury at Boatworks, located in the old L&L Marine location on Highway 82 West in Northport.
Before new Cascade Platinum Plus, I would pre-rinse all my dishes because my old detergent just wouldn't get them clean. But now I do dishes differently. And no pre-wash, no rewash, money back guaranteed kind of different. Because Cascade Platinum Plus has double the grease fighting power of Dawn built right in, with twice the scrubbing power, giving me a clean that lets me break all the dish rules. I just scrape, load, and I'm done. Yep. So clean. With Cascade Platinum Plus, I dare to dish differently.
Welcome back to the Martin Houston Show, the sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team, on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show, powered by MaX Sports, presented by Alabama One, alabama1.org. Go check us out, alabama1.org. You can find out all the great services we have there. And while you're there, go ahead and take the credit card challenge. You can get a lower interest rate as low as 10.99 on our variable rate credit card when the average is 19.2. What that means is savings for you up to half the amount you pay in interest on a typical $5,000 balance over a 3-year period. So save big and still be able to use it all your other locations, and you also will get great benefits, and there is no fee for you to transfer that current balance on your current credit card to Alabama One. X, real quick, and we'll get to our callers to wrap up things, but real quick, Bama Hoops versus Big 12, Oklahoma, what you got?
After Wednesday night, just the way Alabama has played and being able to overcome adversity, I'm going to keep rolling with the Tide. They've been able to prove they can win big and win tight, so roll Tide.
Roll Tide. I think Alabama is able to take care of business as well against Oklahoma. Do you have the SEC winning the challenge or the Big 12?
I'm gonna go SEC. I think Kentucky wins their matchup. Auburn wins theirs. Tennessee. There's going to be a couple close ones. But I think that the SEC pulls this out 7-5.
All right, SEC in the Big 12 matchup got Bama taking care of business. They need to continue to shoot free throws well, get the 3-ball falling again, and keep playing that great defense. And this team will take care of business. As far as will we hear on the OCDC this weekend for Alabama?
You know what? It's another junior day, and I think we'll hear at least one.
Yeah, I think we're going to hear. I think Jeremy Pruitt has been offered. Aiden and I were talking offline. Jeremy just brought him a big fancy new truck. Maybe that's what he'll be rolling into T-Town with on this weekend. But don't be surprised if we also hear something on the offensive side of the ball. But that'll probably break on a Monday beginning of the week as well. So Nick Saban, I think he knows where he wants to go. I think he's working out some details. It sounds like there's a lot of folks out there in Oklahoma a little nervous. And maybe, just maybe, Nick Saban and others are waiting to break it right in the middle of the Alabama-Oklahoma basketball game that we've taken Lebby away. Pat, you're in with the Martin Houston Show. You got about a minute, sir. What's on your mind?
SEC. But what about a senior analyst, or not a senior analyst, but a senior offensive person at Dabo Swinney's house called Andrew Zhao? That Andrew Zhao was one of the smartest quarterbacks that I can remember in Alabama history.
Well, I mean, Andrew is be a great candidate in the sense that if you're going young and you're going not a lot of experience. But I don't know that he's ready for a job like Alabama. Same thing I would say, like I said about Brady. The one time he's a coordinator at what you call it, he didn't have a great outing, but he's a great quarterback guy, and maybe he's better at the college game. Zhao is another one of those names, and that's who C.J. Watson had thrown up as well. Significant experience, but I'm not sure he's ready for Alabama. Hey, your thoughts real quick, and then we'll get to John. Thanks, Pat.
I mean, I'd love to get Zhao back, but same situation as you said. It's kind of hard to say if he would be ready or not.
Yeah, and hey, listen, you need a quarterback coach, so maybe you have somebody. Maybe there's somebody on staff that's ready to call plays, and he's going to bring in a quarterback coach that just works with quarterback and doesn't necessarily call plays. I mean, let's look at that staff and see Wiggins. Anybody else on that offensive staff, current offensive staff, could call plays? I don't know. We'll talk about that. John, you're in on the Alabama One hotline. What's on your mind, sir?
Hey, man. So wanted to first off let you know that I was 11 years old when you guys won the national championship, man. What an honor to speak to a member of that team, man. You guys, I was already a Bama fan, but when you all gave it to Miami, man, I just solidified that I was a Tider for life, man. So what an honor to speak to you. But I know you got to go real quick. Any thoughts on if Derek Dooley is a possibility? I know he's an analyst on staff already. My personal pick would be either Brady or Levy for OC and Pruitt for DC, but that's just me personally. I'm not saying, obviously.
Thank you, John. Honor to speak with you as well, and Roll Tide. And then the other side of, yes, Dooley is one of those guys because what does he do? He hits Saban's, thing. He's a former head coach. He's a former offensive coordinator. He's a guy he's familiar with. He could trust him and leave him. So do not be surprised if Dooley isn't the guy. It's a name that hadn't been thrown out there a lot, but he's already in town. And that's what Saban has gone to. Loxley, Sark, Kiffin, all guys who were here in some other capacity before they got the job. And this Bill O'Brien thing didn't, in my opinion, wasn't a great success. So, John, you're right. Well, John, man, appreciate you calling. Call back anytime, man, where we can give you a little bit more time and talk. That was good insight on that. And I think Levy is the guy, and I think Pruitt is the guy at this point, unless I hear something otherwise. Thank you, sir. Roll Tide. All right, well, that's Xavier Houston. That's $8. I'm Martin Houston. This is the Martin Houston Show, powered by MaX Sports. Martin and Xavier Houston. We wish you nothing but a great weekend, telling you to trust in the Lord always, lean not your own understanding, all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. And want to invite you to join us at Harvest Church on Sunday morning, 9 a.m. Bible study, 10 a.m. Sunday school. We'd love to have you. Harvest Church, loving God, loving people. Roll Tide out there, everybody. Have a blessed day.
Let's celebrate. There's a party going on right here.
Thank you for listening to the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Have a good one.
Tide 100.